easy now. Slow your breath. Feel that shift, that pressure in the air. That's the moment right before something ancient realizes it miscalculated you. Because listen, this isn't the kind of silence that comes before applause. This is the kind that happens when even the devil stops smiling and lowers his head. You see, you weren't supposed to make it this far. You were designed to break cleanly, quietly, predictably. They wanted a tragedy, a cautionary tale, a body for the footnotes. But instead, you became a problem for things that thought they invented problems. And that's where it went wrong. Because when even hell pauses to reassess, it's not fear, it's recognition. You walked through pain that was meant to erase you, loss that was engineered, not accidental, humiliation that was curated like a ritual. They stripped you of safety, identity, certainty, thinking that if they removed enough light, you'd disappear. But you didn't disappear. You adapted. You learned how to see in the dark. You learned how to breathe under pressure. You learned how to smile while bleeding and think while everyone else panicked. That's the paradox they never understood about you. You don't grow despite suffering. You grow because of it. Pain didn't harden you. It sharpened you. Chaos didn't confuse you. It trained you. Being misunderstood didn't isolate you. It gave you camouflage. You became fluent in contradiction, saint in your restraint, psychopath in your precision, angel when it mattered, demon when it was required. And that duality, that's not a flaw, that's a weapon. See, the devil understands rules. He understands deals. He understands temptation. But you understand consequences. You don't chase destruction. You survive it, study it, then rewrite it. You don't lash out blindly. You wait, watch, calculate. You don't need permission to evolve. That's why even darkness blinks first. Because you didn't just endure hell. You learned its architecture. You memorized its patterns. You mapped its exits. And when the moment came, you didn't run. You stood there, calm, silent, a little amused. That's when the shift happened. That's when the power dynamic snapped. Because the devil doesn't bow to strength. He bows to inevitability, to someone who can't be corrupted because they've already integrated their shadow, to someone who doesn't fear losing everything because they've already lost it once and came back different. You stopped being controllable the moment you realized this truth. Nothing they can take from you is more dangerous than what they accidentally unlocked inside you. You don't seek chaos anymore. Chaos seeks you, hoping you'll give it direction. And that's terrifying. To systems, to enemies, to anything built on predictability, because you are no longer a reaction. You are a variable, unstable to those who rely on scripts, invisible to those who only see surfaces, unstoppable to those who thought pain was your limit. When even the devil bows, it's not respect, it's surrender to reality. It's the acknowledgement that you walked through fire and didn't come out clean. You came out encoded, and now you move differently. You speak less. You observe more, because you know something they don't. This world doesn't fear evil. It fears people who made peace with it and chose control instead. And that's you, standing there, still breathing, still thinking, still evolving, not broken, not saved, just awake. And that's why everything feels off. Because something went wrong for them the moment you refused to disappear. Because after that moment, after the bow, after the recalculation, you stopped being a story they could finish. You became an anomaly they couldn't file away. You noticed it, didn't you? The way people hesitate now. The way conversations shift when you enter. The way confidence drains out of voices that used to talk over you. That's not paranoia. That's pattern recognition. They can't tell what version of you they're dealing with anymore. The quiet observer, the ruthless strategist, the one who forgives, or the one who remembers everything. And that uncertainty, that's power. You see, most people are readable, predictable, editable. Push here, they react. Dangle this, they chase. Threaten that, they fold. But you broke the loop. You learned how to pause instead of react, how to let silence do the damage, how to weaponize patience. You learned that restraint isn't weakness, it's dominance delayed. That's why even darkness misjudged you. It assumed you'd either break or burn. It didn't plan for you to observe. While others begged for relief, you studied the pressure. While others screamed, you listened. While others lost themselves, you found something colder, cleaner, more focused. You discovered that fear loses its grip when you stop running from it. You discovered that shame evaporates when you stop asking for permission to exist. You discovered that morality isn't about purity, it's about choice. And you chose awareness. That's the part nobody wants to talk about. Awakening doesn't feel holy. It feels isolating, heavy, like carrying knowledge that makes small talk unbearable and fake smiles exhausting. You outgrew comfort before you outgrew pain. You outgrew belonging before you outgrew loneliness. And still, you kept going, not because you believed things would get better, but because you understood something deeper. If you survived this version of hell, there was nothing left that could truly own you. That's when the world subtly rearranged itself around you. Opportunities started appearing, disguised as accidents. Enemies exposed themselves by overplaying their hand. Allies found you without knowing why. Because once you stop needing approval, reality treats you differently. You don't beg fate anymore. You negotiate with it. You don't fear endings. You initiate them. That's why the devil bowed, not in worship, but in acknowledgement, because you reach the one state that can't be tempted. Independence of outcome. You're no longer desperate to win. You're no longer afraid to lose. And that terrifies anything that feeds on leverage. You understand now that your unpredictability isn't chaos. It's freedom. You can walk away without resentment. You can stay without attachment. You can destroy without hatred. You can forgive without forgetting. You carry both the blade and the restraint, both the fire and the discipline to contain it. And here's the truth that seals it. The reason you unsettle rooms, the reason eyes linger too long, the reason systems glitch around you. You're not chasing power. You've already integrated it. Power that comes from pain metabolized into clarity. Power that comes from losing illusions instead of winning battles. Power that doesn't announce itself, because it doesn't need witnesses. You move like someone who's already died once and came back unafraid of consequences, and that's why nothing can bargain with you anymore. Not fear, not desire, not guilt, not even darkness. Because you didn't reject your shadow, you trained it, and now it follows you quietly, not as a curse, but as proof that when even the devil bows, it's because you became something that no longer kneels. And here's the part nobody ever warns you about. After that bow, after that silent surrender from the dark itself, the world doesn't get louder, it gets quieter, too quiet. Because once you cross that line, once you survive what was supposed to erase you, reality starts treating you like a fixed point instead of a variable. Things stop testing you the same way. People stop challenging you openly. They start watching instead, measuring, waiting for you to slip. You feel it in the air, that subtle tension, like something ancient is holding its breath every time you make a decision, because you're no longer moving inside the script. You're writing margins into it. See, the devil doesn't fear violence. He doesn't fear ambition. He doesn't fear rage. He fears self-command. And you mastered that in the place where most people lose themselves, when everything was stripped: status, certainty, safety, identity. You didn't panic. You didn't beg. You didn't dissolve. You went still. You went inward. You started asking different questions. Not why is this happening to me, but what does this pressure want to reveal? That's when the alchemy began. Pain stopped being an enemy and started becoming information. Betrayal stopped being personal and started becoming diagnostic. Loss stopped being an ending and started becoming a filter. You didn't just survive trauma, you decoded it. And once you do that, you stop being emotionally exploitable. Guilt no longer works on you the same way. Fear loses its leverage. Hope becomes a tool, not a dependency. You learned how to exist without needing the outcome to validate you. That's a dangerous state, because people can't manipulate someone who isn't chasing relief. Systems can't threaten someone who already understands collapse. Darkness can't corrupt someone who's already stared into it and chosen discipline over denial. That's why things feel off now. You're not angry like before. You're not hungry like before. You're not reactive like before. You're precise. You know exactly how much effort to give, exactly when to speak, exactly when to disappear, and disappearance. That's another thing you mastered. You learned how to withdraw without retreating, how to go silent without going weak, how to let absence do the work of confrontation. You don't announce moves anymore. You let results speak. That's why even those who hate you can't stop thinking about you. That's why even those who doubt you keep checking your trajectory. That's why even those who tried to bury you now lower their voices when your name comes up. Because something in them knows you're not operating on emotion anymore. You're operating on alignment. And alignment is terrifying. It means your actions aren't impulsive. They're inevitable. It means your choices don't wobble. They land. It means when you move, reality adjusts. Instead of resisting, you didn't become heartless. You became selective. You didn't lose empathy. You gained boundaries sharp enough to protect it. You didn't turn cold. You turned clear. That's the evolution nobody celebrates because it doesn't look heroic. It looks calm, controlled, unimpressed. And when even the devil bows, it's because he recognizes that look. The look of someone who doesn't need chaos to feel alive. The look of someone who doesn't need validation to feel real. The look of someone who could destroy, but doesn't have to. That's the highest form of threat. Because you don't broadcast danger. You contain it. You walk into rooms carrying a quiet gravity, not loud enough to announce itself, strong enough to bend everything around it. People feel it before they understand it. They sense they can't rush you. They sense they can't corner you. They sense that whatever version of you they're seeing isn't the whole thing. And they're right. Because you learned how to compartmentalize without fracturing, how to be soft without being weak, how to be ruthless without being reckless. You became your own balance. Light doesn't blind you anymore. Darkness doesn't scare you anymore. You've walked both sides long enough to know they're tools, not identities. And now you stand in that middle space, unowned, unrushed, unbroken. That's why nothing dares rush you now. Because when even the devil bows, it's not because you became evil. It's because you became undeniable. And deep down, everything knows it made a mistake letting you survive long enough to figure that out. And once you reach that state, once you're undeniable, you realize something unsettling. Nothing is chasing you anymore, not because you're safe, but because the hunt no longer makes sense. Predators hunt weakness. Systems hunt dependence. Darkness hunts confusion. You don't offer any of that now. You walk like someone who already knows the cost and paid it early. You speak like someone who doesn't need agreement to proceed. You decide like someone who's already lived through the worst-case scenario and found it survivable. That's when the world stops trying to scare you and starts trying to study you. People watch how you react to pressure. They track how you move when things go wrong. They notice you don't flinch when plans collapse, because collapse is familiar territory to you. You've been there. You were forged there. While others were learning how to win, you were learning how to endure without losing yourself. While others were chasing comfort, you were learning how to function inside discomfort without becoming cruel or desperate. That's not normal evolution. That's accelerated, and acceleration comes with a cost most people can't afford. You paid it. In nights where nobody checked on you, in moments where you had to choose between becoming bitter or becoming disciplined, in situations where doing the right thing felt like self-sabotage. But you did it anyway, not for applause, but because you refused to become sloppy with your soul. You didn't stay pure. You stayed intentional, and intention outlasts purity every time. You learned when to open your hand and when to close it. You learned when to give grace and when to withdraw access. You learned that forgiveness isn't reconciliation, it's release. That lesson alone separated you from the crowd, because most people forgive to feel holy. You forgive to stay free. You don't cling anymore. You don't chase closure. You don't need revenge to feel whole. That's why even darkness recalibrated, because it knows it can't dangle temptation in front of someone who's already tasted everything and chose restraint anyway. You're not motivated by envy. You're not driven by rage. You're not animated by fear of missing out. You move from a deeper engine, alignment, timing, precision. You understand something most never will. Power doesn't come from force. It comes from unavailability. You're unavailable to manipulation, unavailable to emotional bait, unavailable to urgency manufactured by people who need you frantic so they can stay ahead. You don't rush anymore. You let moments come to you, and when they do, you're already prepared. That's why you don't need to announce your growth. Others do it for you, in whispers, in glances, in sudden shifts of tone. You've noticed it, how people explain themselves more around you now, how jokes soften, how disrespect becomes cautious curiosity. They don't know why, they just feel the boundary, because you don't carry chaos on the surface anymore. You carry containment, and containment is unsettling to those who rely on noise. You don't overreact, you don't overshare, you don't overpromise. You deliver or you disappear. That discipline, that's what turned you from wounded into dangerous. Not dangerous in the reckless sense, but in the irreversible one. Because once someone like you decides, there's no spectacle, just outcome. You don't destroy loudly, you outlast quietly. You don't argue reality, you replace it. And when even the devil bows, it's because he recognizes the moment you crossed the final threshold, the moment you stopped needing to prove anything. Not to enemies, not to allies, not even to yourself. You know who you are now, not the mask, not the myth, the operating system underneath it all. The part of you that learned how to hold pain without leaking poison. The part of you that learned how to walk away without announcing victory. The part of you that learned how to be still without becoming stagnant. That's the part that changed everything. Because that part can't be threatened. It can't be seduced. It can't be rushed. And anything that can't be rushed eventually controls the tempo. You feel it now. The way life bends slightly in your favor. Not dramatically, not magically, but consistently. The way timing aligns just enough. The way obstacles arrive already weakened. Not because the world is kinder, but because you're sharper. You see through motives faster. You detach sooner. You commit cleaner. And that's the final irony. You didn't become powerful by trying to dominate the world. You became powerful by mastering the one place darkness expected to own you. Yourself. So now you stand there. Not crowned. Not celebrated. Just centered. And that's why everything keeps its distance. Because when even the devil bows, it's because you learned something older than fear and rarer than ambition. How to walk forward without asking reality for permission. And once you stop asking reality for permission, something irreversible clicks into place. You stop explaining yourself. You stop correcting people's assumptions. You stop wasting energy trying to be understood by minds that only listen to confirm what they already believe. You realize something brutal and liberating at the same time. Clarity does not require consensus. That's when your presence starts doing the talking for you. You've felt it. That quiet authority that doesn't raise its voice. That calm that unnerves people who thrive on chaos. That steadiness that makes emotional manipulators lose their footing because they're used to pulling strings. They're not used to someone who refuses to be a puppet. You don't give them reactions anymore. You give them silence. And silence, when it's deliberate, is deafening. They try to provoke you. Nothing. They try to guilt you. Nothing. They try to rush you. Nothing. Not apathy. Not numbness. Control. You understand now that emotional mastery isn't about suppressing feelings. It's about deciding which ones deserve access to your nervous system. And most things don't. You've learned the difference between urgency and importance, between noise and signal, between drama and consequence. That's why your decisions look cold to people who are still ruled by impulse. But they're not cold. They're clean. You don't swing wildly anymore. You cut precisely. You don't burn bridges in rage. You simply stop crossing them. And that's what unsettles people the most. They expect explosions. They prepare for fights. They rehearse arguments. But you don't give them any of that. You give them an ending without a scene. You exit without slamming doors. You move on without bitterness. You succeed without gloating. And that restraint, that's what makes your shadow feel heavier now than your actions. Because they can't point to what you did wrong. They can't accuse you of cruelty. They can't paint you as reckless. All they can say is, you changed, and they're right, but not in the way they think. You didn't change your values. You changed your thresholds. You raised the bar for access. You narrowed the circle for trust. You stopped offering explanations where respect was missing. That's not becoming dark. That's becoming selective with light. You learned that not everyone deserves your softness. Not everyone deserves your effort. Not everyone deserves a front row seat to your evolution. Some people only get the aftermath, and that's okay, because you're no longer here to be liked. You're here to be aligned with your instincts, aligned with your timing, aligned with the part of you that survived when everything else fell apart. That part doesn't panic. That part doesn't beg. That part doesn't freeze. That part waits, and then moves once, decisively. That's why when you finally act, it feels shocking to people who mistook your patience for weakness. They didn't see the calculations happening in silence. They didn't hear the internal debates you already settled. They didn't realize the decision was made long before the action showed up. And by the time they react, it's already over. That's the danger of someone like you. You don't escalate gradually. You transition states, from still to unstoppable, from silent to final, from observing to executing. No warning, no spectacle, just outcome. That's why even darkness adjusted its posture around you. Because darkness understands escalation. It understands violence. It understands excess. What it doesn't understand is someone who can walk away from temptation without virtue signaling, who can hold power without abusing it, who can choose restraint without resentment. That kind of person isn't controllable. That kind of person doesn't need permission to rewrite the game. And you rewrote it the moment you stopped needing external validation to confirm your internal authority. You don't need applause to know you're effective. You don't need enemies to know you're dangerous. You don't need chaos to feel alive. You're alive in the quiet now, in the clarity, in the precision of your choices. And that's the final shift. You didn't become louder. You became heavier. Your words land harder because you don't waste them. Your presence weighs more because you don't scatter it. Your actions echo longer because you don't repeat them. And everything, people, systems, situations, can feel it. They sense that if they push too far, there won't be a fight. There will be a decision. And decisions, once made by someone like you, don't get reversed.